In the last 12 months, AI has automated millions of jobs, and in the next 12 months, AI will automate millions more. So the question really is no longer will AI take up our jobs? Yes, AI is already doing that. The real question is, are there any jobs AI will not take? And in this video, I will be sharing 5 AI-proof skills that you must master as we go into the coming year to secure yourself and your job. So if you're someone who's been worried about the inevitability of AI taking up jobs, I think this is a video you definitely want to watch. And number 5 is arguably the most important, so stick around for that. But let's jump into it, shall we? Just a couple of weeks ago, I came across an article on LinkedIn that was talking about this new robot called Neo, and this gentleman who was part of my connection had ordered one of those. These things are costing about 20 grand right now, but then for what they promised, it would be exciting because that's like the future we've always dreamed about, where we have robots kind of doing everything for us, from cleaning to putting dishes in the machines and stuff like that. But the reality is, while they promise all of such exceptional things, the reality is these robots ain't doing that well just yet. I mean, there's still a lot of support they require. They're kind of slow, they're clunky, and that brings us to the very first skill that I don't see AI actively replacing anytime soon. Eventually, I think it will, but not for a while, and that is manual and handiwork. Manual and handiwork, I think, will remain around for quite a while because I still pay people hundreds of pounds every other week to come clean my house, to come mow and cut the hedges, and that is a reality that will remain for a while. The robots will keep getting better, but I think for now, if there's an industry that is safe from the immediate incursion of AI, I think that is that one. And whereas all of these companies are promising robots that will come into our homes and start doing everything for us, I think it'll take a while before they actually get to that point. There will be early adopters who will try these things out, but I don't see them effectively replacing these skills anytime soon. So if you're someone who's been in that industry before, or you're just looking for an industry where you can actually use your hands, you're happy with using your hands, you're active, you love such things, then I say that is one skill you definitely can get into that will definitely keep you AI proof, at least for now. The second skill I would highly recommend mastering as we go into this uncertain future is the skill of storytelling. Because while AI is good, ChatGPT and the likes, you could give them prompts and they could, remix human stories. At the end of the day, human nuances and the cultural innuendos that we are able to put into our stories as human, that is something AI can't do just yet, because they don't know the stories, they don't know our reality, they don't know those things that actually, they're not living a human experience. And that, I think, is a very important and critical element that becomes more and more in demand, especially as the world becomes more and more AI driven. The more authentic, the more real, the more human content becomes, the better it is. So master the art of storytelling. How can I tell the stories of my life and the experiences I've had in a way that will move people to act? AI is certainly trying to clone and replicate human emotion, but there's no way it's mastering that anytime soon. So if you can infuse the human emotion into your ability to tell stories, the arcs of our lives and the reality of being human, then trust me, it's a massive advantage. And I think that's become something that's on the rise a lot lately. So that's one skill you definitely want to master. The third skill I think everyone should absolutely master is the skill of critical thinking and problem solving. Now, AI is good at data interpretation. I could throw at it a bunch of data and it'll probably find some pattern to it, which is great. But when it comes to hardcore problem solving, the ability to read between the lines and put together a framework, human intelligence still excels at that. And according to the World Economic Forum, that is actually a skill that is getting more and more in demand. So that where the limits of AI interpretation comes, human intelligence can take over and actually put the pieces together. So I think that is a skill absolutely worth mastering. Push yourself to not be so dependent on AI. Let AI do the bits it can do, but do not sacrifice your critical thinking. Do not sacrifice your ability to think on your feet and actually problem solve, because that will become more and more in demand, especially as AI begins to take on all of these other fringe things. You want to be at the center of your decision making. You want to be at the center of your critical thinking, whether in your life or within an organization, because I think that is a skill that will remain relevant for a very, very long time to come. Another skill that is very critical to master as we go into this AI-driven future is the skill of emotional intelligence. Yes, we've always been a race that was excited about high IQ, but now with AI being able to surpass most human IQ, in only a couple of years, the reality is the EQ, your ability to actually now understand human emotion and interpret human emotion, becomes a bigger value product. When we're talking about your ability to do high stakes negotiation and interpret, or even sales. A lot of this comes down to your ability to understand human psychology, and I think that that is an element that AI will not be replacing very quickly. Of course, they'll keep trying and working at it, by being able to read certain micro expressions from humans and then interpret it in a certain way. But if there's anything we know about humans, is that we cannot be put in a box just like that. So I think if you're someone who wants to remain irreplaceable in your organization or in life in general, you want to definitely master emotional intelligence. And that basically matters for everything from, showing empathy to negotiation to leadership to, sales. So I think it's an absolutely critical one. And that leads us perfectly into the final and most important skill that I think everyone must master as we go into the coming year. The final and most important skill everyone should master is AI fluency, which many would interpret as prompt engineering. At the end of the day, if we can all agree that AI is going to become an ever-increasing part of our human existence, then your ability to communicate with it effectively, your ability to use it effectively becomes a superpower. I once read this news article about how many years back, when the calculator was first invented, there was all kinds of riots and protests saying that the calculator was going to make the teachers, redundant, and students were going to be dumber because they were using calculators instead of just calculating from their brains. And now in retrospect, we look at that and we think that is so dumb, and that's the same place we find ourselves now as a species, where there are those who are saying, oh, AI is just all bad, it's going to make us dumber. I agree, to some extent it will. I mean, research is already showing that a lot of people are getting less brain activity because they're relying solely on ChatGPT to do every thinking and do every writing and do everything for you. However, the reality is AI is not the one that's going to replace people, at least not in the immediate. It is people who are using AI better who will replace people who are being ignorant or who are being lazy to learn and master it. So if there is a skill that is absolutely critical, in fact, and that's why I said I think this is the most important one, master the art of using AI. Understand the tools, experiment with the tools, try out all the different tools, see which ones you can integrate and incorporate into your life to make your life better, to make you a more efficient person in whatever you do. Even for the ones who are doing handiwork, how can I incorporate AI into the business I do to make my booking system faster, to make my response to my customers easier? For every business, there's an angle that can be automated and that can leverage AI. So your job as a person who wants to stay relevant, who doesn't want to lose their job or their source of income, is to find ways to incorporate AI effectively into what you currently do. And that's just going to make you better. It's an enhancement. And the reality is, whether you like it or not, the ones who would own the future will be the ones who learn to utilize AI effectively. And you definitely want to be one of those. And that's it on this one. I hope you guys have found that useful. If you have other skills that you think are actually worth learning and that you believe are AI proof that I've not mentioned, please do mention them down in the comments. It'll be good to hear what your thoughts are. For me, these are just some of the 5 that I think are absolutely critical. But then obviously I would love to read what you guys think. And don't forget, if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, it doesn't hurt you. Please just click on that subscribe button, and don't forget to like and share the video because it does help the channel as we grow. I have exciting news coming, by the way, because I'm working on a massive project which I will be sharing more on in the next few weeks, but I'll keep that under wraps for now, but certainly something I think will be exciting for everyone who already watches this channel. But stay tuned for that, and until then, have a fantastic week ahead. I'll catch you in the next one.